the embedded system components. In this video lecture, I'll explain the left out part of module 3. Rest of the things are already covered in regular class. One-wire interface. This is the one-wire interface bus diagram. It has one master and two slaves. Here, master is microprocessor or controller and slaves are one-wire device. Half duplex means communication from master to slave and slave to master happens one direction at a time. Simultaneous communication cannot be possible. Asynchronous means operation is not synced with the clock. One-wire interface is a asynchronous half-duplex communication protocol. One-wire interface is also known as Dallas one-wire protocol developed by Maxim Dallas Semiconductor. One-wire interface is the master-slave communication model. It has single signal line or wire called DQ for communication. Here, power is also sent along the signal wire. One-wire interface has single master and one or more slave devices on the bus. Every one-wire device contains a unique 64-bit identification number stored within it. This number is used for addressing individual devices present on the bus. Here, calculation of the address is only for slave devices. The identification number has three parts. First one, an 8-bit family code. Second one, a 48-bit serial number. Third one, 8-bit CRC computed from the first 56-bit. CRC means cyclic redundancy check. The sequence of operation for communicating with a one-wire device is as follows. Master device sends a reset pulse on the one-wire bus. On receiving reset pulse from the master, the slave device will respond with a presence pulse. Master sends ROM command. This command is the address command followed by the 64-bit address of the device. This addresses the slave device to which it wants to initiate a communication. Then, master device sends a read or write function command to read or write the internal memory or register of the slave device. All communication in one-wire device is master initiated. The communication over one-wire bus is divided into time slots of 60 microseconds. The reset pulse occupies 8 time slots. To start a communication, the master asserts the reset pulse by pulling the one-wire bus low for at least 8 time slots. If a slave device is present on the bus and is ready for communication, it should respond to the master with a presence pulse within 60 microseconds of the release of the reset pulse by the master. The slave device responds with a presence pulse by pulling the one-wire bus low for a minimum of 1 time slot. Here 1 time slot means it is 60 microseconds. For writing a bit value of 1 on the one-wire bus, the bus master pulls the bus for 1 to 15 microseconds and then releases the bus for rest of the time slot. Bit value 0 is written on the bus by master pulling the bus for a minimum of 1 time slot and a maximum of 2 time slots. To read a bit from the slave device, the master pulls the bus low for 1 to 15 microseconds. If the slave wants to send a bit value 1 in response to the read request from the master, it simply releases the bus for rest of the time slot. If the slave wants to send a bit value 0, it pulls the bus low for the rest of the time slot. Figure shows the interfacing of devices through parallel interface. It has host. Host is either microprocessor or controller. It has one peripheral device and it has address decoder circuit. Onboard devices means devices present on the board. The onboard parallel interface is normally used for communicating with peripheral devices which are memory mapped to the host of the system. Peripheral devices are memory mapped to the host means both peripheral device and host share same memory. Parallel bus means it has large number of wires bundled together and enable those wires to send the data in parallel. The communication through the parallel bus is controlled by the control signal interface between the device and the host. Control signals can be read or write signal or device select signal. An address decoder circuit is used for generating the chip select signal for the device. The device contains a device select line and the device becomes active only when this line is asserted by the host processor. The address selected by the processor is within the range. It is assigned to the device. The decoder circuit activates the chip select line and thereby device will become active. Then the processor can read or write from or to the device by asserting the corresponding control line. Control lines are RD bar, WR bar respectively. Parallel communication always obeys strict timings. Parallel communication is host processor initiated. If the device wants to initiate the communication, it can inform the same to the processor through interrupts. The width of the parallel processor means it is the width of the data bus of the host processor. It can be 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit or 64-bit, etc. Parallel bus communication offers the highest speed for data transfer. External communication interface. The external communication interfaces refers to the different communication channels or buses used by the embedded system to communicate with the external world. We will discuss all external communication interfaces one by one. RS-232C and RS-485. First, RS-232C. Figure is the DB9 and DB25 RS-232 connector interface. In RS-232C, 232 refers to the recommended standard number and C is the revision C from the Electronic Industry Association. Full duplex means communication can happen simultaneously in both directions. Asynchronous means the operation is not in sync with the clock. RS-232C is a legacy full duplex wired asynchronous serial communication interface. RS-232 is the extension to the UART communication signals for external data communication. UART uses the standard TTL or CMOS logic for bit transmission. In TTL or CMOS logic, logic high corresponds to bit value 1 and logic 0 corresponds to bit value 0. TTL full form is transistor-transistor logic. EIA standard means Electronic Industries Alliance. As per the EIA standard, a logic 0 is represented with voltage between 3 and 25 volt and a logic 1 is represented with voltage between -3 and -25 volt. In EIA standard, logic 0 is known as space and logic 1 is known as mark. From RS-232 interfaces, it is possible to define various handshaking and control signals for communication apart from transmit and receive signals. Handshaking signals are used between devices to establish communication. RS-232 supports two different types of connectors, namely DB9 9-pin connector and DB25 25-pin connector. Point-to-point communication means communication between nodes. RS-232 is a point-to-point communication interface and it has data terminal equipment DTE and data communication equipment DCE for doing communication. The RXT pin of data communication equipment should be connected to the TXT pin of data terminal equipment and vice versa for proper data transmission. If no data flow control is required, only TXT and RXT signal lines and ground lines are required for data transmission and reception. Serial transmission means sending data bit by bit one after the another. If hardware data flow control is required for serial transmission, various control signal lines are used. RS-485. RS-422 is another serial interface standard from EIA for differential data communication. In differential data communication, it uses two wires for transmitting bits from one node to another node. RS-485 is the enhanced version of RS-422. It supports simultaneous communication with maximum 32 transmitting devices and 32 receiving devices on the bus. It uses addressing mechanism to identify the slave device with which the communication needs to be established. Universal Serial Bus or USB. Universal Serial Bus USB is a wired high-speed serial bus for data communication. It has USB host at the center and one or more USB peripheral devices or USB hosts connected to it. Figure shows the star topology for USB device connection. It transmits data in packet format. Packet as a standard format. USB communication is a host-initiated one. The USB host contains a host controller. Host controller is responsible for controlling the data communication, which includes establishing connectivity with USB slave devices, packetization, and formatting the data. The physical connection between the USB peripheral device and the master device is established with a USB cable. USB uses two different types of connector at the end of the USB cable for connecting the USB peripheral device and host device. They are Type A and Type B. Type A is upstream connection for establishing connection with host, and Type B is downstream connection for establishing connection with slave device. It uses differential signals for data transmission. It improves noise immunity. It has ability to supply power to the connecting devices. Each USB device contains a product ID that is PID and a vector ID that is VID. PID and VID are embedded into the USB chip. By the USB device manufacturer, PID and VID are used for loading drivers. USB supports 4 different types of data transfer, namely control, bulk, isochronous, interrupt data transfer. Control transfer is used by USB system software to question, configure, and issue commands to the USB device. Bulk transfer is used for sending a block of data to the device. It supports error checking and correction. Isochronous data transfer is used for real-time data communication. That is, the data communication happens with time. Interrupt transfer is used for transferring small amount of data. IEEE 1394. It is also known as FireWire. Isochronous communication means multiple data transfer happens at the same time. IEEE 1394 is a wired isochronous high-speed serial communication bus. It is known as High Performance Serial Bus or HPSP. Peer-to-peer communication means computers are connected each other via internet. 1394 supports peer-to-peer connection and point-to-multipoint communication. In this, 63 devices are connected in a tree topology. Tree topology Topology connection is the hierarchical fashion connection in which each node can have child nodes. It is a wired serial interface and it has 15 feet cable length for interconnection. In this, data rate is 400 to 3200 megabits per second. It uses differential data transfer. Interface cable has three types of connectors, namely 4-pin connector, 6-pin connector and 9-pin connector. It is a popular communication interface. It is used for connecting embedded devices like digital camera, camcorders, scanners to desktop computers for data transfer and storage purpose. It does not require host for communicating between the devices. For example, you can directly connect a scanner with a printer for printing. Data rate supporting by 1394 is higher than the USB 2.0 interface. Its implementation is costlier than USB implementation. Next, infrared. It is also known as IRDA. Line of sight based communication or transmission is transmission of data between transmitter and receiver devices without any obstacles between them. Infrared IRDA is a serial off-duplex line of sight based wireless technology for data communication between devices. The remote control of TV, VCD player, etc. works on infrared data communication principle. VCD is video compact disc. It is used to store video content. Infrared communication technique uses infrared waves of the electromagnetic spectrum for transmitting the data. It supports point-to-point and point-to-multipoint communication and all devices should be in line of sight. Its communication range is 10 cm to 1 meter. The range can increase by increasing the transmitting power to the IR device. It has data rate ranging from 9600 bits per second to 16 Mbps. Data rate means number of bits transmitted per particular time duration. 9600 bits per second means transmission of 9600 bits per second. Depending on the speed of data transmission, IR is classified into serial IR, SIR, medium IR, MIR, fast IR, FIR, very fast IR, VFIR and ultra fast IR, UFIR. IRDA communication involves a transmitter unit for transmitting the data over IR and receiver for receiving the data. On the source infrared light emitting diode LED acts as transmitter and photodiode acts as receiver at the receiving end. For bidirectional data transfer, both transmitter and receiver should be present. Such IR units are known as transceiver. Certain devices like a TV remote control require unidirectional communication, so they contain either the transmitter or receiver unit. IRDA communication has two parts, namely physical link part and a protocol part. Physical link is responsible for the transmission of data between the devices and the protocol part is responsible for defining the rules for communication. Physical link works on the wireless principle, making use of infrared for communication. IRDA specification include the standard for both physical link and protocol layer. Protocol layer is the first layer of the Open System Interconnection model, that is OSI model. Physical layer deals with the bit level transmission between the devices. Media Access Control (MAC) is a network data transfer policy that determines how data is transmitted between two computer terminals. Logical Link Control (LLC) data communication protocol layer is the upper sublayer of the data link layer of the 7-layer OSI model. The LLC sublayer acts as an interface between the Media Access Control (MAC) sublayer and the network layer. The LLC sublayer provides multiplexing mechanisms that make it possible for several network protocols coexist within a multi-point network. The IRDA control protocol contains implementation for physical layer, media access control and logical link control. The physical layer defines the physical characteristics of communication like range, data rates, power, etc. Bluetooth is a low-cost, low-power, short-range wireless technology used for data and voice communication. Bluetooth operates at 2.4 GHz. It comes in radio waves range of the electromagnetic spectrum and uses the frequency hopping spread spectrum (FHSS) technique for communication. Frequency hopping spread spectrum is the method of transmitting radio signals by rapidly changing the carrier frequency among many distinct frequencies occupying a large spectral band. It supports data rate up to 1 Mbps and range 30 feet for data communication. Like IRDA, Bluetooth also has two parts, a physical link part and a protocol part. Physical link is responsible for physical transmission of data between devices and protocol part is responsible for defining rules of communication. Physical link is the wireless communication making use of RF waves. Bluetooth-enabled devices contain Bluetooth wireless radio for transmission and reception of data. Rules for Bluetooth communication is implemented in Bluetooth protocol stack. Bluetooth communication IC holds the stack. Each Bluetooth device will have a 48-bit unique identification number. It follows packet-based transfer, that means data transmitted in packets. Point-to-point means device to device and point-to-multipoint means device to multiple device communication. Bluetooth supports point-to-point and point-to-multipoint wireless communication. The point-to-point communication follows the master-slave relationship. A Bluetooth device can function as either master or slave. When a network is formed with one Bluetooth device as master and more than one device as slave, it is called Piconet. Piconet supports a maximum of 7 slave devices. Bluetooth is used for short-range data communication in handheld embedded devices. For specific usage scenario, Bluetooth standard should meet minimum requirement, that is, generic access profile (GAP) should meet the requirements such as detecting the Bluetooth device and establishing the connection with it. File transfer profile (FTP) should meet requirements such as file transfer between devices. Human Interface Device (HID) should meet requirements such as supporting human interface devices like keyboard and mouse, etc. These are different Bluetooth profiles. Wi-Fi. In network devices, Wi-Fi is the popular wireless communication technique. Wi-Fi follows IEEE 802.11 standard. Internet protocol is used for establishing Internet. Wi-Fi is used for network communication and it is Internet protocol based communication. In the multi-point communication, it is required to identify the specific device for data communication. In an Internet protocol communication or IP-based communication, each device is identified by an IP address. IP address is unique to each device on the network. Wi-Fi router is responsible for restricting the access to a network. That means it will have limited access and assigning IP address to devices present on the network and routing data packets to the required device on the network. Wi-Fi enabled devices contain a wireless adapter for transmitting and receiving data in the form of radio signals through an antenna. Wi-Fi operates at 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz of the radio spectrum. Figure illustrates the typical interfacing of devices in a Wi-Fi network. That is, Wi-Fi router is connected to many devices, that is device 1, device 2, device 3. Wi-Fi radio picks up the signal from wireless communication which is broadcasted from router. For communicating with devices over a Wi-Fi network, in the device, when its Wi-Fi radio is turned on, searches the available Wi-Fi network in the range and lists out the service set identifier SSID of the available network. If the network is security enabled, a password is required to connect the particular SSID. SSID means it lists out the available network. Wi-Fi supports data rates ranging from 1 Mbps to 150 Mbps. Depending on the type of antenna and usage location, Wi-Fi offers a range of 100 to 300 feet. Zigbee consumes less power and it is low cost and wireless network communication protocol. It follows IEEE 802.15.4 2006 standard. Zigbee is used in low power, low data rate and severe applications. This comes under wireless personal area networking. Zigbee specifications support very fast mesh network which has multiple nodes. Networking strategy makes the network reliable by transferring messages in different paths to cover all the nodes. Zigbee supports operating distances of up to 100 meters and data rates of 20 to 250 kbps. Each Zigbee device falls under any one of the following Zigbee device category. They are Zigbee coordinator ZC or network coordinator, Zigbee router ZR or full function device FFD. Third one, Zigbee end device ZED or reduced function device RFP. First one, Zigbee coordinator ZC or network coordinator. Zigbee coordinator is the root of the Zigbee network. The ZC is responsible for initiating the Zigbee network and it stores the information about the network. Zigbee router ZR or full function device FFD. It is used to pass information from device to another device or to another ZR. Third one, Zigbee end device ZED or reduced function device RFD. This is the end device which contains Zigbee functionality for data communication. It can talk only with a ZR or ZC and it cannot be used as mediator for transmitting data from one device to another. The diagram shows the connection between the ZC, ZED and ZR in a Zigbee network. Zigbee is used in various applications such as home and industrial automation, energy management, medical or patient tracking, etc. General Packet Radio Service (GPRS). It is communication technique. Here, data is transferred over mobile communication network like GSM. In GPRS, communication data is sent as packets. While transmitting, the device splits the data into several packets which are related to each other, and at the receiving end, the data is reconstructed by combining the received data packets. GPRS GPRS supports theoretical maximum transfer rate of 171.2 kbps. GPRS is having radio channel. That means it uses radio waves for communication. This radio channel is shared between several users and it is not dedicated to a cell phone user. This channel is divided into 8 time slots. Data transmission is done on the available channel. Internet protocol means it uses internet for communication. Point-to-point communication means it is the communication between the devices. And X.25 protocol means it is the packet switch data communication. Packet switching is the grouping of data and transferring this over network. GPRS supports Internet Protocol IP, Point-to-Point Protocol PPP and X.25 protocols for communication. GPRS is mainly used in mobiles. GPRS hardware should include GPRS modem and GPRS radio. GPRS modem routes the internet. GPRS radio establishes communication using radio signals. Embedded firmware. Embedded firmware is a control algorithm. That means it is program written using instructions and the configuration settings of the embedded system, and these things the developer dumps into the code or program memory of the embedded system. It is the essential step in the embedded system. There are various methods in developing the embedded firmware. They are: write the program in high-level language. The language used C or C++. Use integrated development environment IDE for programming. The IDE will contain an editor, compiler, debugger, simulator, etc. Compiler for compiling the program. Linker for generating the absolute object file which is having absolute address to mention where the code should be located. Debugger for debugging the code and simulator for simulating the code. IDEs are different for different family of processors or controllers. For example, Keil Microvision 3 IDE is used for all family members of 8051 microcontroller since it contains the generic 8051 compiler C51. Second method, write the program in assembly language using instructions supported by target processor or controller. The instruction set for each family of processor or controller is different. The program written using any one of the method mentioned should be converted to processor understandable machine code before loading it into the program memory. Machine code means representation in zeros and ones. The process of converting the program written in high-level language or assembly code to machine code is called X-file conversion. The methods used for X-file conversion is different for different programming technique. If the program written in C or C++, the cross compiler will convert it into corresponding X-file. If the program is written in assembly language, the processor or controller supported utilities are used for X-file creation, and also there are various third-party tools available and these can also be used, which are free of cost. For the beginner, it is recommended to use the high-level language-based development because writing code is easy and portability is also high. Highly portable means you can use the same code to run on different processor or controller with little or less modification. The only thing is need to recompile the program for new processors with required IDE and replacing include files for that particular processor. Program written in high-level language are not developer dependent. Any skilled programmer can easily understand the code by looking at the code. But if the code is having enough comments, it is easy to debug and overall system development time will be reduced. Embedded software development process in assembly language is tedious and time consuming because the developer should know all the instruction sets of the processor or controller. Other system components. Other system components are the components or circuits or ICs which are used for the proper functioning of the embedded system. In turn, it enables proper functioning of the processor or controller and firmware execution. Examples of circuits or ICs which are essential for the proper functioning of the processor or controller are watchdog timer, reset IC, it is a passive circuit, brownout protection IC, it is a passive circuit. Passive circuit means the circuit will not generate power but it will store, dissipate and release the power. Some of the controllers of system on chip integrate these components within a single IC and no need to connect these components externally. The first circuit under other system components is reset circuit. Let's discuss about reset circuit. Figure is the RC based reset circuit. That means this circuit uses resistor and capacitor. The reset circuit is essential to make sure that the device is not operating at a voltage level where the device is not guaranteed to operate when the system power is on. The reset signal brings the internal register and the different hardware system of the processor or controller to the known state and starts the firmware execution from the reset vector, that is normally 0x0000. The reset signal can be either active high or active low. Since the processor operation is in sync with clock, the reset pulse should be wide enough to give time for the clock oscillator to stabilize. And then the internal reset state starts. Power is on and the reset signal is applied to the processor from the external passive reset circuit or from the standard reset IC like MAX810 from Maxim Dallas. Passive reset circuit consists of capacitor and resistor. Select the reset IC based on the type of reset signal and logic level supported by the processor or controller in use. Some microprocessor or controllers contain built-in internal reset circuitry and don't require external reset circuitry. Figure shows the resistor capacitor based passive circuit. First figure is the active high reset pulse circuit. Second figure is the active low reset pulse circuit. The reset pulse width can be adjusted by changing the resistor value R and capacitor value C. Brownout protection circuit. Brownout protection circuit prevents the unexpected program execution behavior of the processor or controller when the supply voltage to the processor or controller falls below the specified voltage or threshold voltage. Brownout protection are very much essential for battery powered devices since after battery is used, there are greater chances of the battery voltage to drop below the threshold voltage. The processor behavior is not predictable if the supply voltage falls below the recommended operating voltage, that is the threshold voltage, and the behavior will be unpredictable until the voltage rises above threshold voltage. Certain processors or controllers support built-in brownout protection circuit which monitors the voltage level internally. If the processor or controller does not integrate a built-in brownout protection circuit, the same can be implemented using external passive circuit or supervisor ICs. Supervisor ICs are the ICs which keeps the processor under control. Figure illustrates a brownout circuit implementation using Zener diode and transistor for processor or controller with active low reset logic. The Zener diode DZ and transistor Q forms the heart of the circuit. The transistor conducts when the supply voltage VCC is greater than that of the sum of the VBE and VZ. This sum is the Zener voltage. threshold value for VCC. The values of R1, R2 and R3 can be selected based on electrical characteristics of the transistor. Oscillator unit. In combinational circuit, output depends on the present input. In sequential circuit, output depends on the past and present inputs. A microprocessor or microcontroller is a digital device made up of digital combinational and sequential circuits. Microprocessor or controller instruction execution is in sync with the clock. Oscillator unit in the embedded system generates the precise clock. Certain processors or controller integrate a built-in oscillator unit and just require an external ceramic resonator or quartz crystal for generating clock signal. Operation of quartz crystal and ceramic resonators are same in operation, but there is physical difference between them. A quartz crystal is normally mounted in a hermetically sealed metal case with two leads protruding out of the case. Hermetically sealed means it is airtight. Protruding means projecting out. Certain devices may not contain a built-in oscillator and the clock pulses are generated and supplied externally. Quartz crystal oscillators are available in the form of chips. They are used for generating the clock pulses. The speed of operation of a processor is primarily dependent on the clock frequency, but we can increase the clock frequency blindly for increasing the program execution speed. The logical circuit present inside the processor sets the upper threshold value for the maximum clock speed of the system on which it runs. Beyond this limit, system will become unstable and non-functional. Power consumption increases with increasing clock frequency. Accuracy of program execution depends on the accuracy of the clock signal. In the figure, you can observe the usage of quartz crystal or ceramic resonator and external oscillator chip for clock generation. Real-time clock or RTC. Real-time clock is used for keeping track of the time. RTC holds information such as current time in hour, minute and seconds in 12-hour or 24-hour format and date, month, year, day of the week, etc. and gives timing reference to the system. That means, for example, giving IST as the reference, that is Indian Standard Time. RST will work even when there is no power. RTCs are available in the form of integrated circuits. RTC chip contains a microchip for holding the time and date related information, and it also has backup battery cell for functioning in the absence of power. RTC chip is interface to the processor or controller of the embedded system. For operating system-based embedded devices, a timing reference is essential for synchronizing the operations of the OS kernel. The RTC can interrupt the OS kernel by asserting the interrupt line of the processor or controller, and for this, processor or controller interrupt line RTC interrupt line is connected. The OS kernel identifies the interrupt by interrupt request number generated by the interrupt controller. One interrupt request is assigned to the RTC interrupt. When RTC interrupt occurs, the kernel can perform operations like time updation, managing software timers, etc. RTC can be configured to interrupt the processor at predefined intervals or when the RTC register reaches a specified value. Watchdog timer. In the desktop Windows system, if we feel our application is behaving in an abnormal way or if the system hangs up, we have control or delete to come out of the situation. Similar to this, in embedded system, we have watchdog to monitor the firmware execution, and if the program execution hangs, then reset the system processor or controller. Watchdog timer is a hardware timer. It is used for monitoring the firmware execution. Hardware timer means hardware component performs the timer operation. Depending on the internal implementation, the watchdog timer increments or decrements the counter. Counter counts 1 for 1 clock pulse and generates a reset signal to reset the processor when count reaches 0 in down counting watchdog, and when count reaches highest count value in up counting watchdog. When the watchdog counter is in the embedded state, the firmware will write 0 to it before starting the execution of a piece of code, and watchdog will start counting. If the firmware execution doesn't complete due to malfunctioning within the time required by the watchdog to reach the maximum count, the counter will generate a reset pulse and it will reset the processor. If the firmware execution completes before the expiration of the watchdog timer, reset the watchdog timer by writing 0 to the register. In most of the processor, the watchdog is built in, and processor provides permission to status register to control the enabling and disabling of the watchdog timer, and controls the writing count value to the watchdog register. If the processor or controller doesn't contain a built-in watchdog timer, the external watchdog timer IC is used. External watchdog timer uses hardware logic for enabling or disabling and resetting the watchdog count, etc. Here, writing to status register from firmware and the status register controlling watchdog approach is not followed. Example, microprocessor supervisor IC DS1232 integrates a hardware watchdog timer in it. Figure shows the microprocessor supervisor circuit having external watchdog timer implementation for a small-scale embedded system. PCB and passive components. PCB is printed circuit board. Printed circuit board is the backbone of every embedded system. First, the components and the interconnection among them is finalized. Then, schematic design is created. According to the schematic, the PCB is fabricated. On the PCB, all the necessary components mounted as per the design requirement. And PCB is also used for testing embedded firmware. PCB also has some passive electronic components like resistor, capacitor, diodes, etc. These are essential for proper functioning of the embedded system.